A 92-year-old man has been sentenced to life with a minimum term of 20 years in prison for the rape and murder of an elderly widow nearly 60 years ago. Ryland Headley was found guilty on Monday of killing the 75-year-old Louisa Dunn at her Bristol home in June 1967 in what is thought to be the UK's longest cold case to reach trial, and was told by a judge he will die in prison. The mother of two's body was found by neighbours after Headley, then a 34-year-old railway worker, forced his way inside the terraced house in the eastern area of the city before attacking her. Police found traces of semen and a palm print on one of the rear windows inside the house, but it was about 20 years before DNA testing. The case remained unsolved for more than 50 years until Avon and Somerset detectives sent off items from the original investigation and found a DNA match to Headley. He had moved to Suffolk after the murder and served a prison sentence for raping two elderly women in 1977.
Could you open the door, please? Just like to speak with you. Could you open the door, please?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Who are you?
I'll explain. I'm from the police.
You what?
I'm from the police.
What?
Good morning. Hello. I'm from the police.
What's here?
I'm from the police. My name's Naomi Main. I'm a detective. May I come in, please?
No. You can't come now. I'm just coming now. Where you want to come in for?
I'll explain because it's a bit sensitive. So we'd like to come in and speak to you properly, please.
Eh?
May I come in to speak to you properly?
I mean, I've just got up. I'm an old man.
I'm sorry. It's quite early.
I'm very sick. Not well at all.
You're not well?
No.
Okay.
What do you want to? What is it about?
I'll tell you inside because we don't want other people hearing. So can we just come in and get you seated?
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Here's Mr. Headley, yes?
Eh?
Mr. Headley?
Yeah.
Ryland Headley, lovely. Thank you very much. This is my colleague Jo. We've just got a camera recording as well, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm here today because I'm arresting you on suspicion of the rape and murder of Louisa Dunn, which happened in Bristol in June 1967.
Yeah.
The reason I'm arresting you is because the police have investigative material that indicates you're responsible for that rape and murder of Mrs. Dunn, which happened at Britannia Road in eastern Bristol, June 1967. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something that you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. I need to do this.
Wait, where all this come from? Where you get all this from?
We have investigative information, so we have material that suggests that it's yourself. And we need to basically arrest you and take you to the custody so that we can conduct an interview with you, so we can hear, your event and interview about it.
Into what?
Interview you about it and get your account.
Our job this side of the desk is to look after your rights, your entitlements and your welfare. So that's what I'll be doing today. The officers will be carrying out an investigation. There'll be an interview and things that need to happen. But I need to go through a certain amount of things with you whilst you're here at the desk. You've been arrested before? Have you been arrested before? You have? Okay. I need to find out why you're here to start with, so you're going to have to bear with me, alright? And then I'll need to go through some questions. Like I say, my job is to look after you whilst you're here with us, nothing more, alright?
So we have investigative material and therefore believe that Mr. Headley committed the rape and murder of a lady called Mrs. Louisa Dunn, which occurred in June 1967 at Britannia Road in Bristol.
So linked forensically?
Yeah.
Prosecutors said the convictions showed he had a tendency to break into people's homes at night and, in some cases, target an elderly woman living alone to have sex with her despite her attempts to fend him off and to threaten violence. Headley from Ipswich, who did not give evidence, denied raping and murdering Miss Dunn but was found guilty of both charges at trial at Bristol Crown Court. Detectives said forces across the country are investigating whether Headley could be linked to other unsolved crimes. Mrs. Dunn's granddaughter, Mary Dainton, who was 20 when her relative was killed, told the court that her murder had a big impact on my mother and my aunt and her family. I don't think my mother ever recovered from it. The anxiety caused by her mother's brutal rape and murder clouded the rest of her life. The fact that the offender wasn't caught caused my mother to become and remain very ill. When people found out about the murder, they withdrew from us. In my experience, there is a stigma attached to rape and murder. Finding out her grandmother's killer had been caught after almost 6 decades turned my life upside down, she said. I feel sad and very tired, which has affected the relationships I have had with those close to me. I didn't expect to deal with something such emotional significance at this stage of my life. It saddens me deeply that all the people who knew and loved Louisa are not here to see that justice has been done. After her statement, Mr. Justice Sweetin told Mrs. Dayton, "It is not easy to talk about matters like this in public. Thank you very much for doing it in such a clear and dignified way." The judge told Headley his crime showed a complete disregard for human life and dignity. Mrs. Dunn was vulnerable. She was a small, elderly woman living alone. You treated her as a means to an end. The violation of her home, her body, and ultimately her life was pitiless and cruel act by a depraved man. She must have experienced considerable pain and fear before her death, he said. Sentencing Headley, the judge told him, "You will never be released. You will die in prison." Detective Inspector Dave Marchant of Avon and Somerset Police said Headley was finally facing justice for the horrific crimes he committed against Louisa in 1967. The impact of his crime has cast a long shadow over the city and in particular Louisa's family, who have had to deal with the sadness and trauma ever since. The officer praised Miss Dayton's resilience and courage during what he called a unique case and thanked investigators from his own force as well as Southwest Forensics detectives, Suffolk Constabulary, the National Crime Agency and the Crown Prosecution Service. Charlotte Ream of the CPS described Headley's crimes as appalling. She said Louisa Dunn died in a horrifying attack carried out in the place where she should have felt the safest in her home. Mrs. Dunn's death continues to have a traumatic impact on her family members. The passage of the time has not lessened their pain. For 58 years, this appalling crime went unsolved, and Ryland Headley, the man we now know is responsible, avoided justice. Jeremy Benson, KC, defending Headley, offered no personal mitigation on behalf of the defendant. Please like this video, please comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my crime channel. Thank you.
Is it because you wanted to go into the bedroom?
No comment.
Okay. So, what has then made you come back out of that window and go in via a different window instead?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
You look a bit confused by that. Do you want to ask me something?
He said, no, and you often climbed up 2 windows at this and that people's house. No comment. A bit annoying question, you know. No comment.
So, when police have attended the following day, they've noticed that the bedrooms upstairs have locks on them inside the corridor. So if you had entered via that upstairs window, you would have been trapped in the bedroom. Is that why you then came back out?
No comment.
And went through a different window?
No comment.
Did this not happen? You can tell me if this is rubbish and it didn't happen.
No comment.
Okay. Because remember, this is your opportunity to give us your account. And if you didn't do this, this is your time to tell us.
No comment. I didn't. No comment.
You didn't?
No comment.
And on the upstairs window, when police attended the next day, there was a handprint or partial handprint found on the window. Obviously, you've had your handprints taken today while you've been in custody. When we compare those, do you think they're going to match?
No comment.
Okay. Could it be your handprint?
No comment.
Is there any legitimate reason why it might be your handprint?
No comment.
Because if you didn't do this, have you ever been there for any other reason that would explain why your handprint might be there?
No comment.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happened next. Okay, so once you've gone in, or somebody has gone in, we believe it to be you, through that window, Louisa has been attacked. Can you tell me about that?
No comment.
Where did you find her in the house?
No comment.
Or did she find you, maybe?
No comment.
Okay. How did she react to seeing you in the house?
No comment.
Did you have the impression you were welcome?
No comment.
Okay. Was there any conversation between you and Louisa?
No comment.
Okay. Was she expecting you?
No comment.
There were a number of people nearby who heard a scream in the early hours of the morning.
No comment.
Did Louisa scream?
No comment.
What made her scream?
No comment.
Can you tell me how Louisa died?
No comment.
Did she die as a result of your actions?
No comment.
And if so, what were your actions?
No comment.
Was it an accident?
No comment.
Rylan Headley, you've been found guilty by the jury of the murder of Louisa Dunn and of her rape. Offences committed on the same occasion as long ago as 1967. I want to say something at the outset about the woman you killed. At the time of her death, on the 27th or 28th of June of 1967, Mrs. Dunn was a 74-year-old widow living in her own home at 58 Britannia Road, Easton, Bristol. She lived in this house for many years. She was born in 1892. As a young woman, she was involved in the birth of the Labour movement and its mission to improve the lives of ordinary working people. Mrs. Dunn had been married twice in her lifetime. Her first husband, Edward Parker, was a notable figure in Bristol, serving as an alderman and being a leading light in the Labour Party. He died in 1945. This marriage produced two daughters, Iris and Edna. Her granddaughter, Mary Dayton, recalls that her mother spoke of Edward's deep love and affection for Louisa. Their home was a hub of social and political activity during this period. Mrs. Dunn led a simple life, supported by her old age pension and supplementary allowance. She did not possess any amount of money in the house, nor any valuables. Her few treasured possessions included her books and the deeds to her house. You broke into her home. You sexually assaulted her, and in doing so, you caused her death. You may not have intended to kill, but you planned to rape her, and you brutally attacked her when you did so. You met her screams and struggles with force sufficient to kill. Diligent work by the police and forensic evidence, particularly the DNA match, definitively linked you to this crime after decades when you must have thought that you had avoided detection. The palm print found at the scene, now identified as yours, provided further evidence of your presence and attempts to gain entry through a window. I commend the Crown Prosecution Service, the police and the forensic scientists for their hard work and professionalism in investigating and bringing this case to trial. The nature of these offences demonstrates a complete disregard for human life and dignity. Mrs. Dunn was vulnerable. She was a small, elderly woman living alone. You exploited that vulnerability. You treated her as a means to an end. The violation of her home, her body, and ultimately her life was a pitiless and cruel act by a depraved man. The rape of Mrs. Dunn before her murder places the offending in the most serious category. You violated the sanctity and safety of Mrs. Dunn's own home, where she had every right to feel secure. The method of killing by strangulation and pressure to the mouth, causing injuries to her face, eyes and neck, indicates a high degree of violence and cruelty. She must have experienced considerable pain and fear before her death. In the course of the trial, the court has heard evidence about your subsequent criminal conduct, specifically the rapes and burglaries committed in 1977 and between 1973 and 1978. These offences involve the invasion of other elderly women's homes and sexual assaults. They reveal a chilling pattern of behaviour. I'm grateful for the assistance and research of all counsel. The tariff which would have been set was lower than the minimum term which would be imposed today. I've taken the rape into account as a feature which makes the murder all the more serious, and I do not therefore impose any separate penalty. For the murder of Louisa Jane Dunn, the sentence must be one of life imprisonment. Having considered all the aggravating features of this case, including the impact on Louisa Dunn's family, who have waited decades for justice, the minimum term I impose is 20 years. You will be entitled to credit for the time spent on remand, which can be calculated separately. It is normally necessary to explain the effect of such a minimum term in detail, but given your age, and for all practical purposes, I can do so in very short terms. You will never be released. You will die in prison.